Well, James Siminoff, man, you must be real proud of yourself and made your parents proud too. I mean, you found all these, people out there on the website having crowdfunding sites, and you said, "God, I could do that." And you create your own crowdfunding site, and with your product, though, you raised $7 million in about 13 months. Wow! Don't you love going home and showing off?
Yeah, it's been a wild and crazy and pretty good 13 months. I guess that's what I'm gonna think about it.
Well, first, show us the product that you invented.
So it's the Doorbot, and it's a doorbell for the smartphone. So it's dual powered. So if it's battery operated. If you don't have an old doorbell. And if you do have an old doorbell, you can actually put the wires to it, and it'll charge and ring your doorbell inside. So it's a doorbell for the smartphones, and now you can see and speak to anyone at your door from anywhere in the world.
Wow! So I could be at Starbucks, screwing off, and somebody the UPS guy comes, and they'll ring the doorbell, and I'll see him, and I can tell him, "Hey, just leave the package. It's okay."
And that happens all the time. I mean, I was in China and my dry cleaner came from California, and I said, "Just put it right around the side of the house," and he did, and it was all good. So
was that a Chinese laundry or what?
Yeah, exactly. No, it wasn't. It didn't happen to me, but it would have been ironic if it was.
Yeah, it's a wonderful idea. Now you've been in little gadget business before, more technology, and very successful. But what made you think of this? I mean, are you a family man, homeowner now, or something like that? Is that what?
So I was actually working in my garage, as any inventor should, and we would never see or hear anyone coming to the door. So people visiting, packages, everything, and I literally looked online, and I just figured I'd let me get a doorbell that goes to my phone through the internet, because nothing would reach that far back, and it just didn't exist. And so we decided just put it on the idea list of something that we should do.
That's wonderful. So it's really for an inventor in the garage invented something because he's an inventor in a garage to solve the problem.
It is kind of funny that being in the garage actually it caused the invention to happen. So everyone should put themselves in the garage.
I can see your whole life that way. Well, these airplanes aren't fast enough. I think I'll go home and invent a better one.
Exactly.
But that's the way the system works, isn't it?
I think you got to sort of let it roll a little bit. Sometimes people are too, they box themselves out. They're so frustrated that they want to do something that they don't allow the sort of, you got to allow the world to sort of enter into your brain. And so you got to just sort of travel around, be in places, put yourself in positions where you will come up with something, and it is the best way versus trying to sit around a table and force yourself to think of a good idea. Which
really I see, right? Because if you're doing things and something beats you up or something, that's a spark of imagination you wouldn't have had anywhere else, right?
Yeah, and I continue to look at some of the best products that are out there, and they're all guys that are women or anyone, inventors that needed that for what they were doing or wanted it for what they were doing. And so I think it's a great way of coming up with ideas.
And that also is, to me, what gives you the motivation to go through all the hurdles that are going to be there. If you don't believe in it and saw it happen your first, it's not like your mother telling you to do something.
Exactly, and you need to have passion in order to do a business. You can't make a business work without passion. And so typically, if you come up with something because it was something in your environment, you're probably passionate about it. I'm passionate about solving this problem because it actually was a problem that was affecting me. And so, I'm very passionate about it.
So then the idea of finding an idea is something that you have to relate to physically to have that passion somehow. Because otherwise, at least in my mind, everything you do in life is a pain in the ass, right? You're going to have problems.
Everything's really hard, yeah. If you're not excited about it and have a passion for it, there's just no way. You can't build a company like a job. It's not that, because there's too many times that you hit these walls, and the only way to get through the wall is to be passionate. It's like that energy that just blows right through everything.
No, I believe that in so much too. But like even now, when you fundraise, you create your own website to fundraise, and you said there's another place that you create it yourself, but there's other people now you could fundraise on your own site with somebody else's back end stuff instead of sharing like 7% with these other fundraising sites, right?
Yeah. I mean, so we created the fundraising site because we thought that might be a good business also.
Right.
I mean, as of right now, it has not turned out to be a good business. The doorbell business has turned out to be a great business. And again, like that's the business into life is like, you know, sometimes let the world direct you a little bit, you know, those inbound sort of feelers that are out there, let that, you know, take you around. And so, but there's, you know, Kickstarter and Indiegogo are two great sites to crowdfund on. And if you want to, there's selfstarter.us, which is actually like it's a place that you can literally just do your own thing. You don't have to pay anything for the platform. Totally
wow. So in other words, like your case,
is there's no one on that. So you have to then create all of the interest.
But that's what you did. You created all the interest, and you saved yourself what, like $150,000, $200,000 or something like that.
More than that, even, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's phenomenal. I mean, and it's not that difficult unless you're really insecure. You want to test one of these other things first. Yeah. Well, what other things that would you recommend to somebody who has an idea and geez, you know, what do I do next? You know, all I have an idea. I don't have a prototype or anything. What's the best way would you suggest to somebody?
You know, if it's hardware, I think you have to, you got to really figure out, it's difficult because if it's hardware, you know, you're going to need a lot of money to really build it, depending on how complicated the product is. And so the only thing I recommend to people is don't go on a pre-sale site or, you know, a crowdfunding site until you got to invest something to really make sure it's going to work, because there's a lot of carnage in that space where people have put stuff on. Everyone loves it because they put something on that's like awesome, right? Like, I want a car that flies also, like, you know, so everyone buys it. And then you get there and you only have, you know, a couple $100,000, which just sounds like a lot of money, but when you actually go out to build something, it's nothing. Yeah. And you can't build your flying car. Now you have a bunch of people pissed off at you. So, you know, I think the best thing is either start with something really simple. Mm-hmm. That way you don't really need a prototype, because, like, you know, a flower pot, you know, something that's like a cool looking flower pot. Like, you know, you can build it, and you just need to get pre-orders. But if you're doing something like an internet-enabled doorbell with Wi-Fi that goes to a cloud service, that goes to mobile apps, you should definitely have at least some engineers around making sure that you're doing this. But without crowdfunding, we would never be where we are. We needed that cash and those customers to get to where we are. So
that's the other thing. I guess you really got more than cash. I mean, if you went out because you have a good idea and some background, you could have raised maybe the capital to get it done, right? But getting customers to fund it, man, you don't have to hire anybody's girlfriend.
Well, you don't lose any equity, which is great. You get customers, which is always great. You get feedback on the product before you ship it.
Mm-hmm. So you could tweak it and make it better.
And we did. This was originally just a battery operated design, and then we had customers saying to us, "But I want to hook it up to my doorbell." So that's a great idea. Let's do that. And then we made it dual power, which we never would have done had we not had that customer feedback. So I think, you know, being able to get customer feedback, the value of that, and you can survey random people and do all this sort of stuff, but the best survey is someone gives you their credit card.
Absolutely, man.
That's the survey you want. Like,
I used to be in a business of doing market studies, and I thought they were all nonsense. Nobody put up money.
They are. I mean, you know, when someone pays you $200, you listen to them.
Yeah. Well, this is a terrific idea. I think you're going to be, you know, selling millions and millions of more. And so we could find it on, what is it? GetDoorbot.com. GetDoorbot.com, right there. Find all about it. And you said an interesting thing about it, because it's an external thing you put on your front door, and it's really very secure. But people are so paranoid about somebody stealing it. You know, the doorbell's thief in your neighborhood. Exactly. That you will give them an extra free one if anybody steals it, right?
If it's ever stolen, we'll give you a free one, and because I mean, for two reasons. One is we want to back up our product.
Right.
It's never going to get stolen because no one's stealing the records.
Well, it's an easy promise because you won't have to
Easy
keep
insurance
it.
problem, yeah.
Well, thank you so much, James. You're a sweet
Thank you.
guy.
Nice
And
to
thanks.
talk to you.
Okay, take care.